What is up, everyone? This is Review It. I'm James, and it is time to review one of the most anticipated movies by probably a good bit of people for the year, and that is Pitch Perfect 2. So Pitch Perfect 2 takes place about 3 years after the last one, and we pick up with the Bart and Bellas. They have had a very successful time in the acapella championships. They've been winning a lot. Well, they have this big blunder, and they pretty much embarrass themselves along with the whole name of their sorority. But in order to bounce back, they decide that they are going to audition for the World Acapella Championships so that they can get a chance to redeem themselves. The stars from the original movie, Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, Brittany Snow, all of them return in this movie, and they are joined by a few newcomers. Haley Steinfeld is like a freshman at the Barton College, and she comes into the group as a new Bella. She is actually the daughter of a former Bella, and she decides that she wants to basically become a part of this group because she holds them all in very high regards. Now, I enjoyed the last Pitch Perfect. I actually saw it when it was on DVD maybe a year or two ago, and I actually really enjoyed it. Pitch Perfect 2 is no different. I had a really good time with this movie. I thought it was really funny, and it was a good sequel, you know, in a world where a lot of sequels aren't very good as the original. The music is definitely really cool this time around. It was really cool to hear, you know, these a cappella versions of a lot of famous songs. Anna Kendrick, along with Rebel Wilson, are also really funny here. Pretty much all of the Bellas in the movie are very funny, along with the guy from Workaholics. I don't know his name, but he's also really funny in this movie too. There's a lot of good jokes, and most of them hit. A couple of them miss and kind of fall flat on their faces, but some of these are really funny, and some of them just kind of, there are times when it feels like these rapid-fire jokes, and they're really funny. It's a lot of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. Now, that method is good, but it also kind of works against this movie. And what I mean by that is there's a few scenes in Pitch Perfect 2 that feel a little too similar to things that happened in Pitch Perfect 1. Now, I have two flaws that really kind of bugged me quite a lot. Earlier in the film, there's a point where a character mentions something about how he, and along with a lot of other people, don't like to hear original work from musicians. And that really hit me. It really had an impact on me at first, because as a lead vocalist for a band who's really trying to get their name out and, you know, things like that, that kind of, just saying that kind of, whoa. Problem, though, is that the movie never really elaborates on that theme that really could have been a strong and unique theme for this film. I really feel like if they had focused on that and really drove that point to the viewers, it would have been something really special. In the last 15 minutes, of course, that theme is never elaborated on and never fulfilled, and it instead just kind of morphs into, hey, girl power. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that kind of story. There's nothing wrong with that kind of female empowerment type thing. That's great and all. But the problem is the movie hints at something so much bigger early on and just never does anything with it. And it's kind of disappointing. Now, my other major flaw here is that outside of the Bella group, none of these other characters are developed in any way whatsoever. In order for any good film to really, really, really work, you need to have a good antagonist. And Pitch Perfect 2 has an antagonist, of course, but they're in 3 scenes total. And all 3 of those scenes, they are performing some kind of music. They barely ever get a chance to actually converse and really kind of build their characters a little bit. And other characters like Anna Kendrick's boyfriend, he is literally in just a couple scenes, and his relationship with Anna Kendrick's character is never touched on. I mean, we have a lot of times where Anna Kendrick brings up the point of what she needs to do after college is over, which they're all seniors, and so she talks about how her life needs to be after college. But never once does her boyfriend's, you know, impact on her life come into play. So it feels like they're not really together. It feels like he's just there. Like I said before, there's nothing wrong with a female empowerment movie, but if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that every other character at least gets something. You know, come on. But let me not discredit the fact that I really, really dug Pitch Perfect 2. I highly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you liked the first one. If you didn't like the first one, you're going to hate this one. plain and simple. But I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give Pitch Perfect 2 a worth the price of admission. Now I'm going to throw it over to Kelly. Let me just be clear. We saw this along with Mad Max in the same night at the same time. However, we saw Pitch Perfect at 8:30 and then Mad Max at 11:30 in the same night. So when I got back home, it was about 3 in the morning, and for her it was probably the same. So we were just like, you know what, we'll just film them separately and mesh them together. So I'm going to throw it over to her and she's going to give you her input. So that's all from me. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, what's up? So, Pitch Perfect. We went and saw Pitch Perfect last night, and as most of you know, that was my most anticipated movie of the year. I was so excited for Pitch Perfect 2. And good news, it did not disappoint. It was absolutely fantastic. Everything that I wanted it to be. Absolutely loved it. But anyways, let me just go ahead and jump into my good and bad of the movie and what rating I'm going to give it. So, I don't have major flaws with the movie. Like, I thought it was fantastic, but if I was going to pick out flaws, there are 2 that I could think of that I would have preferred to be different, or not really prefer. I'll explain them when I get to them. The first flaw that I thought was kind of, I wish this would have been different, is we really did not see very much of Jesse, which was a main character in the first movie, and I really like him and Becca's relationship, and I hate that he wasn't in this one more. I thought that could have been a lot better. But also another thing that some people might find a flaw with, I personally loved it just because this was my favorite part in the first movie. But like the riff off, they basically took the riff off from the first movie and put it into the second movie and did the exact same thing. But I love the riff off. I think that was an awesome part in both movies, and it's usually my favorite part. So that was not a huge flaw for me. I enjoyed it, but it could be a flaw if they're copying the other movie, obviously. But anyways, so that is really my only negatives, if you could call them negatives. But all the positives, the acting is fantastic as always. I love the actors in this movie. I feel like they were hilarious. They're fun to watch. They do a good job. Their singing is fantastic as usual. Just spot on and awesome. I love it. The next thing that I really loved about the movie is this had more of a storyline, I felt like. Like the first one has a storyline, but it's more focused on the singing in each competition. This one, you are really getting to know these characters more, and you're trying to understand what they want to do outside of being Bellas, and I thought that was awesome to have this different storyline and, you know, get a storyline that's going to lead us into the next movie and things like that. So I really thought that was awesome as well. I thought this movie was really funny. Like, to me, the first movie was good and it was funny in parts, but this one was hilarious. Like, they were adding humor wherever they could, and I really love that because I love to sit there maybe and laugh. Who doesn't? So really enjoyed that part of it. But that's really my goods and bads to the movie. But I feel like my bads, I don't want y'all to think my bads are huge bads, because they're really not. It's just things that they could have improved upon. So I gave this movie a 5 out of 5, of course, and that's basically, oh my god, this is so freaking sweet, and you should go see it right now, today, quickly, because it's really good. Anyways, that's all I have to say about Pitch Perfect, so I'll see you guys later. Bye!